History usually prefers to remember the builders. We talk about the roads, the libraries, the art, and the aqueducts that stretched across maps. But underneath every one of those empires is a quieter story. Conquest, stripped of its romance, is organized physical violence on a massive scale. Today, we are looking at 5 of the most brutal empires in human history. We are intentionally stepping away from exact body counts because those numbers are often distorted by the winners carving their own propaganda into stone. Instead, we are looking at how they killed. We are going to analyze the specific administrative tools they used to treat the people who stood in their way. What you quickly realize is that for an expanding state, extreme brutality is never an accidental byproduct. It is the operating system. The Assyrians ruled Mesopotamia thousands of years ago, and they had to solve a basic economic problem. Besieging a city that fights back is incredibly expensive and destructive. Their solution was terror as a marketing campaign. They made sure everyone knew what happened to places that resisted, using spectacular, graphic violence on a few to guarantee the surrender of the many. Kings left inscriptions boasting about flaying rebels alive or building pyramids out of severed heads. While these specific accounts were intentional state propaganda designed to frighten neighbors, the public warning was quite literally carved in stone. Fast forward to Rome. They liked to think of themselves as civilization itself, the inventors of Western law and engineering. But their peace required routine, industrialized violence. After the Spartacus slave revolt was crushed, Roman forces crucified an estimated 6,000 captured slaves. They spaced them out over roughly 120 miles along the Appian Way, a calculated method of rebel deterrence. You might have heard the story that Rome salted the earth of Carthage so nothing would ever grow there again. Modern historians doubt this actually happened, noting that the Romans didn't need cartoonish fictional evil to be terrifying. Rome's true horror was bureaucracy. They made mass cruelty, like the slave economy that powered the empire, and the gladiatorial games that entertained it, an unremarkable daily routine. The Mongols under Genghis Khan used violence as a geographic strategy, treating the erasure of entire cities as a calculated military tactic. The complete erasure of populations in places like Baghdad and Merv served a clear purpose. It was a direct, undeniable message forcing every other neighboring region to capitulate immediately. This chart shows the estimated death toll of the Mongol conquests compared to the global population of the era. Historical demographic reconstruction suggests they killed roughly 30 to 40 million people, nearly 10% of the world's population. Across the ocean, the Aztec state turned the logic of war on its head, making extreme violence the primary objective of their military campaigns. Their military organized campaigns known as flower wars. These were fought specifically to harvest living human beings, capturing prisoners to be sacrificed atop the Templo Mayor to keep the sun god fed. Spanish chroniclers later claimed the Aztecs sacrificed tens of thousands of people in a single 4-day event in 1487. However, those numbers come directly from colonizers who had a strong political incentive to exaggerate the scale to justify their own atrocities. Whether it is a state mapping out the strategic erasure of entire cities, or one harvesting human beings to keep the universe running, extreme violence is a remarkably versatile tool. By the modern era, the British Empire faced a unique challenge. They needed to project a civilized, enlightened global image while simultaneously subjugating massive populations around the world. Their primary tool for this was logistics. To enforce total control, they rarely needed to burn a city to the ground. They simply decided who had access to food and shelter. During the Bengal famines, millions of people starved to death while British colonial administrators continued exporting grain out of the region. While historians debate the exact excess death tolls, the physical, human result of that policy is undeniable. This sanitized approach extended to the concentration camps built during the Boer War, where tens of thousands of civilians died of disease, and the documented use of torture to suppress the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya. Modern empires achieved their most disturbing trick by hiding brutality behind paperwork, framing mass starvation as a logistical consequence of state policy, terror as marketing, cruelty as a daily routine, annihilation as a strategy, killing as a religious duty, and starvation as a deniable policy. These 5 empires existed in wildly different eras and used completely different technologies, yet they all deployed these tools to solve the exact same administrative problem, enforcing total compliance from the people they conquered. Ranking historical atrocities or arguing over which ancient king exaggerated his body count misses the larger pattern. The uncomfortable question is looking back at the entirety of human history and asking if any empire has ever managed to expand its borders without extreme brutality serving as the engine.